Have you noticed something about AI video generators lately? Almost every new model promises cinematic quality, better motion, and more realistic results. But once you actually start using them, you quickly run into the same limitations. The clips are often too short, characters lose consistency, and if you want to create something longer than a few seconds, you're left stitching multiple generations together and hoping everything matches. That's exactly why I was curious when I heard about Seedance 2.5. Instead of focusing on creating another 5-second AI showcase, Seedance 2.5 is built around helping creators generate longer, more controlled videos with a workflow that's designed for actual content creation rather than quick experiments. The first thing that immediately stands out is the support for generating videos up to 30 seconds long. If you've worked with AI video before, you already know why this matters. Most generators only give you a few seconds of footage, which means if you're trying to tell a story or create a product commercial, you end up combining several clips together. That process not only takes more time, but it can also make your final video feel inconsistent. With Seedance 2.5, you can generate a much longer sequence in one continuous shot, making it much easier to create scenes that actually flow from beginning to end. The next feature is something I think a lot of creators will appreciate, and that's the ability to use up to 50 reference materials in a single project. Instead of relying only on a text prompt, you can upload images, videos, audio, and other supporting assets to help guide the generation. Think of it like giving the AI a complete creative brief instead of a single sentence. The more context it has, the better it can understand the style, characters, environments, and overall direction you're aiming for. Another feature I found really interesting is what Seedance calls second-level scene control. Rather than simply describing a subject, you can guide how the entire sequence unfolds over time. You can describe camera movement, changes in lighting, different actions happening throughout the clip, and even how the mood evolves from one moment to the next. Instead of asking AI to generate one image in motion, you're directing an entire scene, almost like you're writing instructions for a camera operator. Then there's the editing workflow. One of the biggest frustrations with AI video is finally getting a generation you love, only to notice one small detail that's wrong. Maybe an object changes shape, maybe a character isn't quite right, or perhaps something appears in the background that shouldn't be there. Normally you'd have to regenerate the whole clip. Seedance 2.5 introduces a workflow where you can refine specific parts instead of starting from scratch, making the whole creative process much more practical. Finally, Seedance 2.5 isn't limited to simple text-to-video generation. It supports a multimodal workflow where you can combine prompts with reference images, videos, audio, and other assets to create much more directed results. That flexibility is one of the reasons I wanted to test it today using my own custom artwork rather than relying on sample prompts. Now that we've covered the main features, let's jump into the actual workspace. This is the Seedance 2.5 dashboard inside JXP, and my first impression is that it's surprisingly clean. Everything you need is available on a single page without feeling overwhelming. Right at the top, you can switch between different generation modes depending on how you want to create your video. Just below that is the upload section where you can add your reference materials. Whether you're using images, videos, or other assets, this is where you'll build the visual foundation for your project. Right here, under Upload Media, I'm going to upload 3 reference images that I created earlier. Now that the references are uploaded, let's move down to the prompt box. This is probably the most important part of the entire workflow. A common mistake people make is describing what they already see in the images, since the AI already has those references. Instead, I'm going to tell the AI how I want the scene to move. Next, let's choose the model. I'm selecting Seedance 2.5 since that's the newest version we're testing today. Since this video is going on YouTube, I'm selecting 16:9. Let's click Generate. Depending on how busy the servers are, it might take a couple of minutes to finish, but while it's rendering, you can actually continue planning your next scene. And once the generation is complete, this is what we get. That honestly turned out better than I expected. The first thing I noticed is the camera movement. It doesn't feel like a static image with a simple zoom effect. The camera actually travels through the environment, which immediately makes the scene feel much more cinematic. If you're someone who creates cinematic AI content, concept trailers, product videos, or creative social media posts, I genuinely think it's worth experimenting with. The learning curve is low, the workflow is straightforward, and with good reference images and thoughtful prompts, you can create sequences that would have been incredibly difficult just a year ago. If you'd like to try Seedance 2.5 for yourself, I've left the official link right at the top of the description. If you enjoyed this review and want to see more hands-on tests of the latest AI tools, not just marketing demos, but real-world results, make sure you're subscribed because we've got a lot more coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.